Good afternoon. There you go. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. If anybody's lost you in the House Regulated Industries Committee, and be careful, we might pass something that affects your business. First up today, we have House Bill 1134. Ms. New.
Thank you, Chairman, and may I have Richard Grosvenor join me with the Georgia Association of Licensed Repossessors? Is that okay? Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you today about HB 1134. We're working with LC 394878. This bill updates Georgia law to industry standards by doing two things for repossessors. It updates the rules of notification for reclaiming personal property that are left in a vehicle when a vehicle has been repossessed, and it also clarifies the completion of a repossession. Updating rules on the notifications. The problem is Georgia's current law allows recovery agents to hold vehicles for up to 70 days, making it an outlier compared to neighboring states and causes issues such as inventory strain and liability risks. I've handed out a comparison. If you would look at this right here, to see how we compare to our surrounding states. Georgia currently they hold your personal property for 70 days with 2 notices required. So neighboring states typically 30 days, but range anywhere from 14 to 45 with 1 notice required for redemption. This bill lowers the storage period from to 30 days, which aligns with industry standards, streamlining operations while allowing sufficient time for debtor redemption. And by reducing unpaid storage from the time of 70 to 30 days. And because we're doing that, there'll be no need for a second notice to be sent. The second thing this bill does is to provide requirements for the determination of the completion of a repossession of a motored vehicle. Under Georgia law, while agents can repossess vehicles without warning, it lacks clarity on when a repossession is legally complete. This ambiguity can lead to dangerous situations and confusion among consumers, law enforcement, and agents. Much like Florida's repo law, this bill specifies when a repossession is complete. The vehicle is attached to a towing truck, the agent has entered the vehicle, or the vehicle is moved from its original location. It is more clarity for law enforcement. Officers can easily determine the possession. It has clear rights for consumers, which reduces disputes by defining the rights of both parties, and again, updates Georgia to industry standards. And that is the bill. Are there any questions?
All right, committee members. Number 3, that would be.
Thank you very much, Representative New, for the bill. So I have a couple questions.
Yes.
So my first question is about when the repossession is complete. If you could just explain to me why does that matter? What happens when the repossession is complete versus when it's in flux? What does that mean for both sides?
So it's always been implied when a repossession is complete, but it's never been written down. And so now there is that gray area, and it is for safety reasons for consumers, safety reasons for law enforcement, safety reasons for these agents to go ahead and just clarify what it means to be complete. And I can let Richard explain a little bit more of what these agents are going through and what they're seeing.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so when we're in the field and we go to repossess a vehicle, every jurisdiction has different opinions, and we don't know when our job is perfected. For example, we know the law, don't breach the peace, take possession of the vehicle, and get it back to the yard safely. But if somebody attempts to stop you in the driveway, in the street, at the intersection, they might notice their vehicle, for example, being towed back to the lot and tries to hinder what's already taken place. There's no clear define of the law that says, hey, our job's been perfected. It's one and done. So that's why we're asking for this, to put a defined definition on when it's complete. Is it when it's left the driveway, or is it when it's on the public roadway?
So just so I understand this, so let's say somebody sees their car being repossessed and they're trying to get it back. is the significance that under this definition, now that it's a completed repossession, they cannot get it back from you? Like if the cops were to be called, would they then be siding with the repossessor as opposed to the person trying to get their car at that certain juncture? I'm just trying to understand the
Oh, yeah.
practical implications of defining this.
Yeah, great questions. So, it's a civil matter, so
Okay.
police typically cannot get involved
Okay.
unless there's some type of breach of the peace, which is why we need it for everybody's safety. At what point in time did we complete our job? Was it in the driveway? Is it halfway back to the storage facility? Or is it at the storage facility? We would more like to think that when it's connected to the tow truck, it's connected and we have possession. It's been repossessed.
But I'm not quite understanding like the practical implications of that. So the person that's trying to get their car back, what does it mean for them if they're trying to get their car back
Oh,
before
for
it's
the
complete
redemption
versus not?
process. It has nothing to do with the redemption process, but the actual process has been repossessed. If they try to hinder or stop what's already taken place, then that's when the safety for all the public is in danger.
Can they hinder or stop a repossession
Oh.
before it is complete?
Trust me, yes, they've run us off the road, they shot at us, they've attacked us, everything you can think of in my 32 years of experience has happened.
But it seems like they could still do that after this definition, right? So I'm just.
Oh, yeah, right, but it's clarity that our job was perfected.
Is this about liability?
Right, yes. I mean, there is a liability issue, right, but it's for everybody's safety, too.
Okay.
I mean, so law enforcement, if law enforcement had to be called, then they would recognize that with a clear definition, we've done our job. It's been perfected. Ma'am, you need to go home, or sir, you need to go home and call your bank and work on the redemption process and let these guys continue to do their job instead of interfering, which is a civil matter anyway, and stopping us from performing our job perfectly that we've done and releasing the vehicle and then having to the bank trying to recover their vehicle at that point.
Thank you for that explanation. And then if you wouldn't mind a second question? So with the notice, how is notice delivered?
Certified mail.
Certified mail to what address?
To last known address, whatever we have on file, which typically they're returned, a majority of them are returned, they're non-deliverable, or they just don't want to accept it. They know their car's been repossessed. When they see the notice, hey, sign for this from Speedy Recovery, is the name of our company.
I guess my
That-
concern is someone who's having their car repossessed, may not be at their last known address, may be moving around, I don't know. But is notifying them certified mail at their last known address, is that in line with what we do at other states? And I'd love to know what percentage of possessions are repossessed once notice is given currently.
Oh, yeah, we have those numbers. We've actually been studying those. Less than 30% of people redeem their property. Only because of industry standards today, the banks that we work for and represent, all the major banks, they send out notification via text, email, and also regular mail, USPS mail,
So
that the vehicle is going to be repossessed, the company that's coming out to repossess it, et cetera. So typically, there's not a lot of belongings in there, but sometimes there is majority of belongings, stuff people leave behind in a common vehicle. So
But the notice that you receive that you can collect your stuff, that's only through certified mail?
that's how we do it, yes. That's state law now, certified mail.
May I interject? So this is just the repossessor. The lien holder will also send a letter of repossession as well, and they have given them a repossession request, and that's where they get the address, is the last known address that the lien holder, whoever that is, has got for the customer, for the client.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman McDonald.
Thank you, Chairman New, Representative New. One, y'all are lucky. Y'all get to repossess cars. I can't repossess caskets, so that's not allowed.
Oh, goodness.
But my question here is, when does the clock start? I mean, it's a little vague on, I know you have to notify within 10 days, but when does the 30-day clock going to start with this legislation? Is that when you've received receipt that they have received the certified mail? Is that when it starts, or is it when you send it? Because we've all heard the mail stories and what's going on, with certified or any mail. And so I'd like some clarification on when the timer starts.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think we would maintain with standard what's in place now. We would get that certified mail delivered within 10 days, so we would get it out within a 10-day period.
Okay.
Sometimes, depending on what day of the week we repossessed it on, but within 10 calendar days, the certified mail would go out. And then, from the date of that letter, you'll have 30 days to claim the property.
That letter going out or the letter that you received something back that they received at certified mail?
The letter going out.
Would you think maybe, what about if you put in there when they receive it, you get your receipt that they received their?
I think that runs into the situation that I said earlier. A lot of people will not sign for that letter, and the
Gotcha.
majority of them are returned.
Okay.
Is that it? Chairman Carpenter.
Thank you, Chairman. Is it fair to say that most people that are in this process realize that they probably hadn't paid their car payment in 3 or 4 months anyway? Is that a fair statement?
That is
Yeah,
correct.
that's accurate, yes.
And is it also not true that by lowering these days, it should help other people that are in car loans have cheaper rates because this increases the cost of loan companies doing business?
That's correct.
I'm sure you're accurate, and the trickle-down effect is accurate, yes.
Thank you.
Number 12, who is that? Mr. Ridley.
Thank you. I guess it's still the standard. When I was in banking, it was like we didn't even start till like 90 days after they had paid the payment. Is that still kind of standard?
It is.
That's typical industry standard.
And then sometimes it'd take another 60 days before you can locate the person and get the car. And like you were saying, I know we had plenty of them that would send certified letters before we even went to the repo part and couldn't even get them to sign get the letter signed. But you go to the address and there the vehicle would be.
That's correct, yes, you're accurate.
Thank you.
All right. Do we have any other questions from any of the committee members? And again, I'm sorry, but what's your name
Richard Grosvenor,
and what is your business?
Speedy Recovery Services, Inc.
And he's here with the Georgia Association of Licensed Repossessors.
Didn't know they had an association. We got another.
Yeah,
we got
and they're
another.
all small business owners, and they're all owned in Georgia and operated in Georgia.
So we've got another country heard from, huh? Sounds to me like this would be a great bill for folks that are in the buy here, pay here business, wouldn't it? All right. No further questions. All right. If not, what's the will of the committee? We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion? Any amendments? Any concerns? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Your bill's gone to rules.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see. House Bill 122 by Ms. Ward Lewis. 1222, I stand corrected. My handler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good afternoon to the committee members. It is a pleasure to present to you HB 1222, working off LC 620384S. This is a simple bill. It does one thing. It limits the cost that an HOA can charge for a closing letter. It caps it at $250.
Can you hold for a second? We've got to find the substitute. Does all the committee have the proper substitute? Yeah, 0384S. Yes. All right, if you would, go right ahead.
And what the substitute does, it just includes these provisions for the Georgia Property Owners Association. Their original bill did not include them. They were omitted by mistake. And just to go through the section 1 through 3, it talks about the Georgia Condo Act, that they're included. Sections 4 through 6 pertains to the Property Owners Act, they're included. And Section 7, it's kind of like a catch-all. There are associations that don't fall under either the Condo Association or the Property Owners Association. And Section 8 is just a cross-reference for the property owners. You should have in your packet also a letter from a realtor who's expressed concerns about the rising flexible fees that the HOAs charge for closing letters. And with that, I'll stand for any questions.
The realtor that you're talking about, if I read, and I think I've seen this bill somewhere before. But,
This bill was presented in 2018, made it to the governor's desk, and unfortunately didn't cross over because the caps were too high at that time. The recommendation was for the caps to be at $250, and that's what this bill does.
that's what I was looking on the line 236 with that letter from the condo fee, closing letter. They can get up to $250.
Correct.
Yeah, very good. All right, questions from the committee. Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you for bringing this bill, and you made some adjustments and some perfections, and Mr. Chair, at the appropriate time, I'd like to offer a motion.
You're a little bit quick on the trigger.
I'm just fast
All right,
like that.
Mr. Washburn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have a question. I just want to commend you for your hard work on this bill. This is a needed bill, and these associations need to be put under some controls, and I know you have worked long and hard on it, and I just wanted to commend you for your perseverance and for working so hard on it, and I'm honored to have tried to help you with it along the way.
Thank you so much, and I do appreciate your help.
All right. I don't see any other committee members that have a question. I will tell you that it's an awful good bill. I think I've seen this bill sometime in the past. Well, I do see one. Mr. Williams, are you still wanting to be recognized for a motion?
Oh, certainly, sir, I've slowed down. Is this slow enough for you? Mr. Chair, I offer a motion that this bill be passed out with a due pass.
Oh, we've got several people.
Now, why you ask?
Well, I apologize. I didn't realize we had some folks that signed up for public comment, which we normally don't take at a full committee meeting. But as an abundance of precaution, we're going to allow these folks quickly to be heard. Connie, I'm sorry, Deidre Poindexter?
Yes, I'm going to decline the public comment. Thank you.
All right. Jeff Ledford?
I will do the same. Sounds like y'all know what the bill does.
Sounds to me like y'all are pretty wise folks. All right. Reverend Williams, you are now recognized for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm glad that they saw the look on my face. I move that this bill gets a due pass.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any comments? Any amendments? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes clearly have it. Good bill.
Thank you so much.
If you'll stop by the office, I'll sign the rule sheet for you. All right. Let's see here. We have House Bill 684 by Representative Taylor.
All right.
Good afternoon, Chairman and committee members. I am here to present HB 684. The substitute LC number is 560581S. Okay. I am presenting House Bill 684, which is a trichology bill. We are asking to incorporate the training and teaching of trichology in the School of Barbering and Cosmetology. And when I say trichology, some of you may say, well, what in the world is trichology? It is actually the hair science or the study of hair loss and scalp diseases and disorders. And it is more prevalent than you think. I have with me a cosmetologist of 30 40 years, who has signed up to speak. So, Mr. Chairman, if I'll let her take over from here, she's on the list.
Thank you, and thank you so much, committee, for allowing me to speak. I'm Connie Judge. Let me kind of qualify who I am before I give the statement with the few minutes that I have. First of all, I'm a licensed cosmetologist for 40 years. I've been a barber stylist since 1997. I've owned a barbering school in Albany, Georgia, and now I am a trichologist and the president of a school here in Atlanta that is authorized through post-secondary education. That's my expertise. Let me just speak to a couple of issues with the few minutes that I have and the concern why I feel that this is so apropos and necessary that all of the beauty professionals that are touching hair needs to incorporate some of this while they're in beauty school because of the rise of hair loss that has taken place now over the last 5-6 years from the pandemic. The critical concern that I have is consumer protection more than anything else. This is the case and the cause that we're seeing at my school, where I've graduated students from 33 different states from around the country that are studying trichology and working in dermatology practices. The rise of hair loss is critical mass in the state of Georgia. The chemical risks and concerns are another factor that we need to really take consideration in what's happening with that, and the limited focus that's being taught on this case in trichology and beauty colleges. The risk factors are also a concern of mine. People who have alopecia, autoimmune issues, breast cancer survivors who are having hair loss issues, thyroid patients with hair loss, and also when it comes to the tension that's put upon the scalp, with the students now learning how to braid, how to weave, and do all of this in beauty college, but no real emphasis is being put on how this is diffusing and causing hair loss. And then the more dire issue is the chemicals that are being used, from permanent wave solutions to chemical relaxers and color, which are now known across the country and throughout the world that these caustic chemicals are really causing problems with health concerns and issues. And I believe that students now and beauty colleges are left behind. We have not modernized our schools to bring them to a level of understanding who is a candidate for that, for chemicals, and who is not. And then when we look at the world issues of traction alopecia and chemical scalp burns and permanent hair loss, these are also contributing to legal issues that could come out of this when our students are going out unprepared. This is not a complaint, but a concern that we need to up that level of education and provide an introductory course that would be mandatory for students to learn. Left giving them an option to do it, they're not going to do it. Leaving the school owners an option to do it, they're not going to do it. They're going to say, get some CEU hours. When I was considering the beauty industry and the hours that we need for CEU credits, we asked for 10 hours. People came down here and fought a bill for 10 hours of education, and they reduced it to 5, and that set us up for more failure. So I'm speaking to that, and in my closing remarks, I just want to show that Georgia can be the leading state in the country that can lead in making this a mandatory thing, that they are offered at least an introductory course to trichology with the scalp disorders, diseases, and hair loss. And I can look around this room and I can tell you that there are massive people sitting right here in the midst of us that are dealing with hair loss. And that's just not being taught. Al can attest to that. Al can attest to that we do have a serious issue among male and female. And listen, hair loss has no race and no color assigned to it.
And we're asking for 30 hours for the students, 30 hours to be included in the curriculum for the students. And I wanted to make sure that you all also knew that I dropped this bill. Y'all know I'm from the beauty industry, salon owner and instructor. Last year I dropped the bill and I did not move forward with it because I wanted to make sure that we had the support of the State Board of Cosmetology. And so we have gone down to Macon, talked with them, shared the curriculum, and they are all in favor of it. So I want that to be on the record that Ms. Kay is okay, Mr. Chairman. And we'll take any questions at this time.
All right, you have a couple of questions. Number 7, that would be Dr. Williams again.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you, Representative Taylor, for this bill. I've listened to this bill now. This is the second time I've read this bill. And it is a shame that it took all these years and so much loss of hair. It took all this time for me to figure out what happened to a beautiful head of hair. So it's y'all's fault. And so I hope that you can correct some of the things. I can't understand why, we've not gone through basic things like cleanliness, etc., why are we here now, even needing to be? But I think it's a good bill. I think that the root of the problem, though, comes not necessarily out of this committee, because this committee always done what's necessary. And I want you to know the chairman must like you, Representative Taylor, because he and I talked about cosmetology bills years ago, and I listened very closely to him, and I've tried to follow his lead. No cosmetology. But anyhow, you've done an excellent job. But the problem rests in there's got to be more funding through appropriations for inspectors.
I agree.
No matter what we pass, until we have the people. No, everybody starts out being honest till they find out they haven't got to be honest. We need inspectors to cover this state and enough of them to make a difference. Good bill.
Thank you, Mr. Representative Williamson. That is accurate. That is something that we do need to address.
Well, I'd say that he's laid his hands on this. Representative Jenkins.
Yeah, I have a few. So to borrow from my friend Buddy DeLoach, what is the clamor on this? Is this, in 2026, here we are adding, it said 50 hours, you said 30 a minute ago, but my bill
50 is
says
for the
50.
instructors to teach it.
Okay, and 30?
And 30 is for the students to get it to graduate.
So we're
As part of the
adding
curriculum.
30 hours of training, which is the better part of a week. It's pretty much a week, and all the expense associated with that. So we're putting even a bigger burden on the students, and I'm just wondering, is it the shop owners that are clamoring for this? Is it the people that are cutting hair, or is this something that the schools want?
All of the above.
Okay, because I've talked to my barber a lot, and she is suffering for lack of employees. She needs to hire people. She can't find trained people, but I've just never heard her mention this. And I couldn't imagine going to a barber for this. I mean, this is kind of dermatology stuff. When you talk about balding and dandruff and things like that, I mean, those are, I mean, I guess it can be treated in a barber shop, but don't you think if somebody needed, if somebody was balding, for instance, and that was concern to them, wouldn't they seek a barber shop that perhaps may specialize in balding, if there is a such thing, if they didn't want to go to a dermatologist about it, or?
Okay, sir, let me address that if you don't mind.
Sure.
With my 40 years of experience in the beauty industry, as a cosmetologist and a barber, I owned a barber school first. I then went to trichology because none of this was taught in beauty college. It's still not being addressed as it should be. I brought an instructor with me today from Paul Mitchell, who has attested to this, who graduated from my program because they wasn't offering anything in beauty school. This is not a concern for a dermatologist up front. The concern is where we start in the embryonic stages of educating students in the beauty colleges so that they know what to do and what not to do. That's where the ignorance lies. This is not a complaint, this is the truth. I have more of a concern about consumer protection than anything else. I have 18,000 pictures on my phone of people who have lost hair in the salons because of the ignorance that runs through the salon. I have another cosmetologist sitting over here. They see the same thing. And again, I'm back to this. A dermatologist is necessary when it's beyond the scope of practice of what they do. We send more people to the dermatologist because of ignorance and error. We do.
And think of it as a precursor, because what happens is that we're getting, your barber probably hasn't mentioned it because it's not been taught. And if she's been barbering for a while, she never even came across it. We're trying to prevent it. And I know for a fact that even when I was doing teaching, we do a consultation. But what happens is that when they go through the whole 1,500-hour course, get into the real world, that 1 hour of consultation training is no more. So when they get out in the real industry and they're, they're looking at clients, I almost said patients, they can identify, like for example, cancer. There's certain procedures or chemicals that you can use on the scalp if someone has cancer. If someone has she was talking about the COVID, the effects from that COVID left, stress. Stress will make you lose hair. And you don't need to put strong chemicals on someone's hair if they're stressed like that. So that's an example to kind of bring it home for you, but it is real. And people don't know what's happening. They don't understand why their hair is falling out or what's going on. Tension, the least little bit of stress on that scalp, on that texture of that hair, it comes out. So it's definitely prevalent.
Could I have one more follow-up? So we already do quite a bit of, I say, infectious disease and health-type related training in barber school. I mean, can't we just incorporate this curriculum in the curriculum that's already there?
That's what we want to do.
Well, and add to the link.
That's what we want to do. It's not this particular curriculum will not interfere with the current structure of the schools at no additional cost. We're just asking that they incorporate 30 hours within their curriculum to make sure that they cover the components of trichology.
So how do they make a school longer without making it more expensive and take longer? Because it's adding 30 hours to it.
Well,
let me speak to that. Okay, let me show you something, sir. This is the textbook for trichology. It's 340 pages in this book. This is all we're asking for the schools.
Right.
That's a minimum amount of information. And let me say this, we don't have to add hours to the 1,500 hours. We need to infuse it. I traveled to beauty colleges throughout the state of Georgia. They called me to come and speak to their school. Their teachers don't know this curriculum. They know nothing about it. You got over 10,000 instructors in the state of Georgia, and less than 1% know anything about trichology. You have more than 50,000 licensed people in the state of Georgia, and very few of them know anything about the word trichology. The ignorance is the problem. And again, it's not a complaint, but it's a consumer concern, because I'm seeing this, sir, in my 40 years of experience, and I travel and I speak at all these trade shows and have been doing that for 30 plus years. There's a serious problem, and it starts with us educating now our young people who are coming out of school that don't have the knowledge, and they get in the real world and they see this and they cannot answer the concern.
So it'll still be a 1,500-hour school?
It's a 1,500-hour program that's in the colleges now. We don't need to add to that. We need to infuse some of that, because they call us to come out and do, extra classes for the schools. We can infuse those hours. This is something that we can offer online to them in the virtual space, and also go on site every now and then and help these schools implement this into their program. So I think it should be left with the school owners in terms of some form of funding. I can't get out here and work for it for free. I'm just putting that out there. Something has to be done there, but we're not asking the state to fund any money for it. I think that should rest upon the school owners. They're making millions of dollars in what they're doing, but they're not applying it in good educational areas where they need to implement these type of things that saves our consumers harm and health challenges.
Okay, that concludes my question, sorry.
Representative McCollum.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I guess my question is this kind of like you're going to teach them to have a preventative maintenance, or like if somebody comes in and their hair's falling out, they would have some knowledge to say you need to do this or that, where now they don't. I think that's what I'm hearing. It's going to help them make suggestions to their customers.
No, we're not doctors. We cannot diagnose.
No, I know that.
But we can identify it and say to that client, because we do the consultation, you find out what medications they may be on. That's another part that's not happening.
Right.
They come to the beauty salon or the barber shop, they sit in the chair, and no communication takes place.
Yeah.
And that is part of the problem. When they sit down, there should be a consultation to make sure, are you on any medications? Or have you been stressed? Have you had a stroke in the last 2 years? All those questions are vital so that the technician knows whether or not he or she can service that client.
Right. Okay.
That's where we are.
Okay.
And then getting that training, it is preventive, but it's not diagnosing.
No, yeah, I just felt like that you are going to train them so they can give them
identify.
Suggestions. Yeah, and okay. Mm-hmm. And then follow up, Mr. Chairman. So do you think that if we pass this bill that my hair's falling out, that they could keep my hair from being like Representative Williams?
HRS.
Well, I just thought I might not get to that point if we got this bill passed. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Let's see. Chairman DeLoach, if there's anybody who can clarify this with your head of hair, I don't know who it is.
Let me do my best, Mr. Chairman. It is my understanding that this bill does not increase the required number of hours. It's just within that required number of hours that this this 30 hours be in trichology. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. That's number one. Number two, Mr. Chairman, if I may.
You may.
The purpose of this bill, as I understand it, is to train people in your profession so that they use these products in such a way that these conditions do not occur. It's not to train them to treat those conditions once they occur. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And that's all the bill does, isn't it?
Correct. Well, except that we want to, before they get to be professionals, we want to teach them while they're still students.
Sure. But we're not increasing the total number of hours.
No, sir.
I think you did a pretty good job of that, illustrious chairman.
That was all close.
Donald.
Who? Chairman McDonald.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm kind of stressing out over here, and I'm worried about Al next to me, stressing out. No, just at the proper time, I want to make a motion to pass.
Well, this isn't the proper time, if you'll hold on. Mr. McCollum, did I see your light flashing again?
Yes, sir, I was gonna.
All right. Reverend Williams, I see your lights on there again. Are y'all gonna be fighting about who makes a motion?
To take away the motion from my dear
All
friend.
right, do we have any other questions from the committee? If y'all would stand aside, we've got someone else that wants to be heard. Ms. Smith?
Yeah. I decline.
You waive.
My goodness. All right. Any questions from the committee on this? Does everybody understand? We're talking about the courses that teach this to the teachers that go forward. 50 hours training. I've only got one concern, and it's something that probably doesn't mean a whole lot. I want to be sure somewhere in here that we need to remind these folks that the only thing they're teaching is to identify.
Correct.
That's
And
in the
not,
curriculum.
and
It's
to
in the
identify and to recommend a client for medical attention. Would that be proper in your mind if you
Well,
did that?
I don't feel comfortable with recommending, just that at my level of experience, I'm unable to service you, this time, or provide that particular service. I don't think recommending that you should go to a dermatologist or to a doctor. You don't know how the reaction may be. And clients can be very sensitive. However, I do agree, and it's in the curriculum that we are actually identifying.
Let me clarify it. So in beauty college, it's only identifying. Once they leave college and get their license, now that's when they can start to do recommendations, because if they become a certified trichologist, they're practitioners. They can refer them out to the right doctor. But in beauty school, students cannot do that. They can identify the issue and say, we can identify this, but we can't put chemicals to a client who has cancer, going through chemotherapy and treatments like that. The students should not be touching people like that. They should be sent away. And that's where the school owner should be involved in that part.
So you're saying through all the process of training and all, that these students that go into this profession, that they know they're not medical practitioners.
They cannot be medical
They
practitioners.
only identify and aren't tempted to try to.
Right.
All right, cool. All right, well, let's see somebody else now. Number 17.
Mr. Chair, at the proper time, I want to second that motion.
I can see that this committee was well-trained about cosmetology bills. All right. Any further questions? Any amendments, any propositions? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And the ayes clearly have it. Your bill is going away.
very much. Thank
Took
you,
you a while to
members.
get here, didn't it? It did. Let's see. And I guess that leaves me, doesn't it?
All right. See you in about 15 years.
No, we're gonna work on those inspectors.
Chairman, I need to pass on this one.
It's gonna be fireworks.
Oh, my goodness. This is it.
Yeah, we'll see some fireworks. Okay. All right. We'll pass it down.
minutes. Yeah. Yes. Hold on just 1 minute. Looking for one that I had it marked up here. Here it is. Here it is. That's it. That's the one I had.
Give me a clean copy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the committee. I bring to you today LC, a substitute to House Bill 1095, LC 640062S. And in the process of this, there's a friendly amendment that's been proposed. What this does, ladies and gentlemen, this allows that is currently prohibited that temporary locations that sell fireworks, that if they want to open them up, they can do it by virtue of a tent. Right now in Georgia, you've got to have a solid licensed facility to be able to open up a satellite or a holiday type station. And these are in these small, I guess, small temporary locations built out of wood or whatever. And this would allow tents. So for every one of your locations they have 10. They can open up 10 locations, but we're only saying that they can use a tent if they so wish. I look at it, and of course I'm over next to South Carolina border, and I see this all the time, because most of these temporary locations are only set up for special events, holidays, and things like that. That's basically what it does. You look through the bill, and you'll see language is stricken where it adds tents, or by striking where it does not allow tents, we're striking that, so it would bring it back into the fold. We left 1,000 feet to a fire hydrant unless the fire chief of whatever county allows that. 10 tits again. And quite frankly, that's what this really does. Doesn't change any of the fees for licensing or anything else. There's a couple of friendly amendments that you're going to see, and I don't have one in front of me. I looked at it, be proposed by Chairman Dubnik. And I would encourage you to I would encourage you, when he explains that, to accept that amendment, because that deals with the not-for-profits.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Dubin, you have an amendment.
Mr. Chairman, at the appropriate time, I would make a motion on this bill, and then furthermore, Mr. Chairman, at the appropriate time, I'd like to offer an amendment.
All right, let me open it for questions before that. Ladies and gentlemen of the committee, are there any questions of Chairman Powell about his basic bill? Number 16. Chairman Deloach.
Mr. Chairman, that's just a quick question. I was thinking about that tent. I just wondered if the folks selling these fireworks could co-occupy with somebody like El McGantry or another traveling preacher.
Well, they probably could, but only if they had a head of hair like yours. They look like a televangelist.
Any other questions on the basic bill? Hearing none, I'll recognize Chairman Dubnik for his amendment.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I'd like to make a motion on this bill, if that would be acceptable for you.
We have a motion for due pass. Is there any other discussion?
Second. Yes, Mr. Chairman, at the appropriate time, I'd like to offer an amendment.
Okay.
Members of the committee, you have that amendment there on your table, AM 640001. Members of the committee, if you were to look at a few of the pieces of the language in the bill, it specifies that a certain portion of the revenue from these temporary operations must go towards benefiting a nonprofit, but there are a lot of community organizations like my son's basketball team who may be doing this as a fundraiser, no different than a car wash or candy bars, or heaven forbid we get back in the selling wrapping paper business. And so all, Mr. Chairman, that I'm asking is y'all see through these provisions here, and I outlined there, All I'm saying is these groups have the same opportunity to operate temporary facilities still under that licensed distributor. Want to be clear about that. But as y'all can see here, I'd just like to add a friendly amendment striking the provision there that would not prohibit these groups from participating. And as y'all can see, all we're doing there is stating that it doesn't, that nonprofit piece doesn't have to be there. So 4 total places, pages 3, 7, 8, and 9. Mr. Chairman, I'll put that forward in the form of a motion.
You've heard the motion. Is there a second? Second. We have a motion and a second for the amendment. Any other discussion on the amendment?
Mr. Chairman, if I might, if you would consider doing this as a committee substitute. Yes.
All right, if you, so if we, handling that is, yeah. If you favor the amendment, the motion to pass the amendment, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. And the amendment passes, and now vote on the primary bill. So we need a motion now to pass the bill by committee substitute. We have a motion. Is there a second? Second. Any other discussion? If you favor the passage of this by committee substitute, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. And it passes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. We set a record. Fireworks and coffee talk. We're out of here before dark.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and this committee has ceased its work for the day, and I'm very grateful. Thank you, and we'll see you maybe later in the week.